Assalamu alaikum, everybody. This is Ahmed again. We'll continue describing the curriculum and some of little history of my humble self-institute to the Islamic curriculum. Last lecture we covered Malcolm X, Imam Warisuddin, Muhammad Ali, Brother Jabir, my life with the Afro-American community. We started with a verse, but I didn't translate the meaning of it, so let us hear it again. Last time. Assalamu alaikum, everybody. Today we are going to enjoy the following verse first.
ومن كان في هذه أعمى فهو في الآخرة أعمى وأضل سبيلا.
This is again Al-Minshawi. He reads very humble, and these people, they never recited for money or fame. As a matter of fact, there was a story that the President Nasser sent one of his presidential protocol court to invite him. So he told him, President Nasser inviting you so you can get the honor of reciting in the presidential palace. He said, we don't get, you guys get honor to hear the Qur'an. I'm not coming, thank you very much. So what happened, the guy like misspoken, I guess, or something, or he treated him like everybody else who would love to meet a president, you know. Anyhow, the verse say briefly, whosoever is blind in this life, in the hereafter, will be also blind, and even worse outcome. What it is, blind here, it doesn't mean a person who lost the capability of seeing, his sight. He can see, blind man or woman. No, this is to do with blindness of the heart and the mind and the soul. Okay? So what we are going to do today, we are going to continue with, alhamdulillah, our description of the curriculum. But I will start with like a very beautiful Muhammad Ali, short, a few minutes, almost like less than 1 minute, class of divinity. Okay, so let us hear him, then explain it.
I got one bodyguard. He has no eyes, though he sees. He has no ears, though he hears. He remembers everything with the aid of mind and memory. When he wishes to create a thing, he just orders it to be, and it comes into existence. But this order is not conveyed in words, which takes a tongue to formulate, or with sound carries ears. He hears the secrets of those under quiet thoughts. He stops those who's that? That's God, Allah. He's my bodyguard. He's your bodyguard. He's the supreme, the wise. So if I can't depend on him, if I get a bodyguard, I'm telling God, I don't trust you. I'm telling God, I'm watching for everybody. He gets at the gun, I'll watch for somebody. No. Allah is my God.
What about when...
Okay, let me explain to you what Muhammad Ali said. It is amazing statement. What it is, a human being is captured and like kind of deriving of his five senses. Okay, seeing, tasting, feeling, and so forth. So the Egyptian, they try to imagine a god. So they said he has to have a big head like a lion, right? So they modeled Sphinx because a person is driven by location and by time. Like if I tell you, would you please take my car and drive? Or I put you in the desert and say, please start walking, say, which direction? If I don't give you direction, you'll feel like this is crazy. I cannot just drive. I cannot just walk. I have to walk to a direction because we are controlled by these dimensions. Okay. So, as human failure, we try to subjugate the creator to the same materialistic kind of jail we have. As a matter of fact, I think Socrates and others, they said there is a creator. We cannot describe him, but we have to wait that he send us to describe himself. Kind of like we can say he is not, but to say he is the one to describe himself. So when it comes to saying that God is like a man or the image of a man or a man in the image of God, all this is nonsense, okay? God created the mathematic, and he cannot be subject to mathematic. He cannot be 1, 2, 3, and so forth. As a matter of fact, when Muslims say there is no God except Allah, this is not a mathematic. This is uniqueness. Like when you say, "Oh, my beloved wife, she's one woman I love." Okay, one is less than 2 and 3 and 4. But you meant uniqueness amongst all women. This is the one. So one is not mathematic. It is like description of uniqueness and speciality. Okay. So in the Christian, they said Trinity. They just try to apply mathematics. Then they didn't even know how to add it. They say 3 is 1 and 1 is 3 and so forth. Then when you say it's like a man, then you have like organs, sexual organs. Stuff. This has become like messy, So what happened? We have a group of people, and kind of famous because they are like a sect which got investment of like $73 billion. And they established himself over Muslim. They say that God created heaven, then he lived in it. So they tell you Allah is in the aboveness, and like he's in a direction, and this is disbelief. If somebody say God in the heaven as a body sitting on a throne or a seat or whatever, this is disbelief. Okay, so there are famous guys like bin Uthman, Al Fawzan, bin Baz. All these guys, they have these problems, and Sheikh Albani warned them. At Tashbih Ayn al-Kufri are making him so similar to be as good as disbelief. So Muhammad Ali say he has eyes, yes, but he doesn't have eyes, but he sees. He meant he doesn't have eye of human being. He has his own eyes, yes, we can describe it as eyes, but we didn't see it. But just because human being, you have to use a dictionary. You have to use our Webster and Oxford to explain to one another. So that most of these are like kind of metaphoric when it comes to the Creator. Exalted is He. So he say he hear, but he doesn't have ears, means he doesn't have human ear. So if Allah said in Quran, speaking about his eyes and he sees, yeah, he does, but not human eyes and not seeing by like human. Okay, so once you take this human shortcoming, then you have exalted the Creator. Okay, so this is a beautiful divinity class for you. So like one day I asked my teacher, Sheikh, his name is Farhat Holwa, he was one of the Supreme Committee member of Fatwa in Egypt and was a judge of Sharjah. Like I said, the Quran is the words of Allah. Yes, it is. So I speak it. No, speaking is my own voice. So where is Quran? Say, do you remember the first chapter Al-Fatiha? Yes, where it is in your chest. This is the words of Allah. So it was very brilliant way to explain it. So we are taking human shortcoming. Coming back to say Allah loves you and your mom loves you. There is a difference. The mom, she cries, she, oh, you're traveling alone, she sell her gold, give you cash and so forth. Allah doesn't cry, he doesn't have human feeling. Okay? So his attribute of love doesn't have the motherly feeling of love. Okay? So it's kind of like divine love and so forth. So I think you got the tip. Now let me continue now. So what it is, I was extremely blessed person because I have a long life, extremely rich. I travel everywhere. I've been with kings, like princes and rich, famous, and I really didn't care. So I was blessed to be, for example, a teacher of Bengali community in East London. East London people speak funny language, okay? So they replace the T with like capital R. Pretty become Brei. You are very Brei, and so forth. So anyhow, I was also lucky to be the Imam of La Kawana in early 1980s, Imam of the La Kawana Mosque of Yemeni community. Oh, these people are so generous and loving and kind. They introduced me to the cooking of, you take a lamb and you put butter, lots of butter, and kind of like slow cooking, cut it small pieces. Oh, wow, this is beautiful. The other thing they do is special rolled bread, they call it fatira, loaded with like layers of thin dough soaked in butter. Wow, I mean, this is amazing in taste. You can eat it with honey or eat it maybe with ground beef or lamb or whatever. So I'm getting you like, teasing you. I was blessed to enjoy all kind of food. I ate in Chicago and the high buildings, a beautiful Hancock room, beautiful places to eat. Oh my God, I've been everywhere. I'm extremely lucky to enjoy a lot of traveling. I think I finished about 15 cars in America, one after the other, driving it till it reached the end, that the engine cannot run anymore. So I've been everywhere except Alaska and Utah. So coming back to I spend a lot of time with Afro-American community, Bengali community, Pakistani community. These are my gang, and I really love them all. But this gave me capability to model a good curriculum for everybody, because I know also the Indonesian community, because we did a great job in English. I tell you the truth. For example, let me show you this. My wife and I, this is our picture here, we translated and authored 328 booklets, book and booklets, okay, covering everything about Islamic library. Like here you have the Quran, you have the Hadith, you have the faith Aqidah, which he took a lesson today from Muhammad Ali. You have jurisprudence. So we cover everything, get the master document, and all this in English. And in one click, you get it all. You'll be like an ocean of Islamic knowledge, all of it classic, traditional, and it's fantastic and well written because Arabic is my first language, and Khadija, English is her first language, and she's a scholar and she's a poet. She wrote poems for children. Her father taught her very well, and they used to compete in poems. And she wrote a lot of poems. So she wrote 80 children's stories and poems, colored them, and I'm sure you will show it with your children, like bedtime story. So we have a huge library, and by the way, no competition. Allah said that let those who compete in His cause. Allah bless me to be number one in the curriculum. How many times you will meet a guy who wrote 300 books in English and free, and some of it is a knockout. Like we have the best contemporary Quran, okay, and nobody outperform us. Not only that, when we went to Indonesia to help the curriculum again. This is my sheikhs. This is Sheikh of Azhar, which is like 3 times ago. Like not the current Sheikh of Azhar, not the one before, not the one before, the one before. This is Sheikh Talidi, is a superb scholar of Hadith. This is me. This is my pinnacle. This is the Grand Sheikh of Hadith in this era. This is his senior elder brother. This is Mufti Hussein Makhluf from the children of Abu Caliph Omar in Egypt, called Bani Adi in Upper Egypt. He's a very lovely man. He buried in unknown tomb. He was humble. He didn't work for money. He was Mufti 3 times, one after the other. Egypt, he couldn't appoint a Mufti when he's alive. And this is Sheikh Sha'rawi, this is number 1 in the Quran. By the way, all these guys are friends, by the way. Okay? So what we did the same when it comes to the Indonesian language. Look, this is the largest. This is again over 150 books, covering everything in Indonesian and few other bahasa. And this is my wife, may Allah have his mercy on her, sitting there. She spent 2 years to translate the Shifa, which is a biography or autography about the Prophet with divinity description. Took her 2 years. She used to sleep on the keyboard. Said, please don't do that. So we have a huge work. When it comes to Ahmad Didat, he has something which is called Ahmad Didat Kit, against tricks of Christian missionary. I mean, kind of beating under the belt, not honorable dialogue. So he made that kit and he asked if somebody can translate it. Nobody did. Nobody did in India, Pakistan, England, America, South Africa. Allah bless me to do it. Okay? So I did it. Okay? And if you go, let's see. If you go here, you will have the all languages. And we added to it, Khadija added to it different add-on material. For example, we found that the 12 pillars of Islam, like 5 pillars of Islam, 6 of Iman, Ihsan, they are in the Bible, but they never care about it, the church, because Christianity now is not run by Bible. First of all, the Bible is Jesus' Bible lost. This is what available now. It is 8 years after him, written by anonymous. but they still have some little few things that he said. He prayed to God and said, my God and your God, and so forth. So we added a lot of this cross-referencing, and we have all this now in all languages. Here you go. So you have it from African. So Ahmed did that request with accomplishment. Why I'm telling you this, not to give me respect. I did this for Allah, may Allah accept, but to understand that you are talking to somebody who is hardworking and large scale, okay? And there is nobody in America you can compare him with Khadija and myself in Islamic production and curriculum. That's it. When it comes to Islamic, we cover most of the Muslim languages. So here you have all these languages. I have 15 books translated in all of these. Okay, big references. So we have a lot of people. This site was same year of Amazon, before Google, Allah.com, Muhammad.com, Moscow.com, and people are benefiting all the time. When you translated the Quran in 1980s, the download was 750 a day continuously. People come and say, oh, they have translation now, and most of them full of mistakes. They never even check with us. I mean, we can advise them for free. The nearest one to us is Arabic. He's far better than any English other translation. He's number 2. Alhamdulillah, we are number 1. So now I'm going to take you to the focus on the curriculum now, okay? So what's happening if you come and tell me, okay, you are making this Islamic courses for all Muslim. Yes, I've been imam with them, servant, and I understand them, okay, and we wrote a lot of books. Then I come to start this curriculum revival. Let me explain to you what I mean. Say you are a very rich person, young kid, you got married, you have a baby, the baby is suckling now milk. Say in 2 years my son will eat. So you go and buy and have cow farms and sheep and chicken and ducks and everything. Then they will tell you, hey, the baby cannot eat this stuff. Say, oh, really? You have to have special food. Maybe you do some milk mix with milk and mix with sweet potatoes, stuff like that. So after I made all these books, shelves of books, I realized we need to have something focused and concentrated, okay? So now let me start from the beginning. When you start with the children. So I give you 70 bedtime stories by Aunt Khadija. We have an MP3, she has few in MP4, beautiful stories, and in English and in Indonesian. Why in Indonesian? Because Indonesian, they don't speak English, okay? So we have to serve them. We are in rank of servant, okay? We serve the nation of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam to please him, please Allah first, okay? Then after that I give you like what is Islam, all right? So what is Islam is a booklet I wrote and approved by Azhar, and as a matter of fact this is the one was translated into German by Fatma here in Munich Islamic Center, translated in Italian, many languages. And this is the book where Khadija read and embraced Islam, okay? Then we come to what is called the spiritual development. A lot of people goes and read a book, keep reading, but he's kind of spiritually bankrupt because nobody told him that you start with the spiritual. Allah created you to worship. I'm going to explain to you. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam has like 23 years his life of prophethood, 62 years, but 40 years he became a prophet. So when you total, this is kind of like little over 8,000 days. The prophetic saying is about 8,000. I will give you the exact number. The divine hadith, which is statement by Allah but not in Qur'an, they are 495. Then the Quran is 6,236. So when you do that, you feel like he was speaking average, one verse a day, like mathematic average, I mean, maybe a day, 3 days he doesn't speak, then later he speaks 3. So mathematic average of 2 paragraphs a day, one is the whole words of Allah and one his own interpretation, explanation of it, which 3 of them, divine hadith, prophetic hadith, hadith means sayings, and the verse of Quran, the holy reading, are the revelation of Islam. And the Quran came to the Prophet's heart. It's not a book, it was not given as a book. He memorized, and we used to come slowly, as I told you, a few verses at a time into 23 years. So then the Sahaba memorized it, and the Prophet forbid them to read the Quran in less than 3 days, to read all of it. So they memorize and they used to read. And the Arab, they're known for good memory. And I explained to you, if you speak slang and you see a movie or something for 20 minutes, you can explain it very well in your slang. But if I tell you I like it for more eloquent English or something, you say, no, I cannot do that. So this is it. The Arab in that time, they have only one language, eloquence language. They didn't have slang. So they hear and remember immediately. So when it comes to, if the Prophet spoken only about 2 paragraphs a day, so what he was doing the whole day? He was worshipping Allah or marketplace. So the Muslim, they go to the market, they do business. So the people trying to do business from sitting schools, this is not a business. Because education in Islam is a spirit of education. You study like twice a week. Prophet used to teach women twice a week. Second generation, same. If people few come specialize, like Imam Shafi'i take a group of people, teach him in his mosque in Shafi'i mosque in Egypt. So from morning to before noon, that's it. So this idea of sitting boarding school and studying, this is not the spirit of Islamic study. You should learn how to be like Sahaba of Mecca and Medina, trading, export, import, technology, Python programming, technology, compete with Google and Facebook and all these guys. Okay? You make a lot of money at Google and Facebook doing like over $150 billion advertisement in Islamic country, and they don't disclose how much they are making. I'm trying to get some people to join, and we can make a advertisement server, because I'm a Fortune 500 designer. I work in a company in many years, and I go to a company, save them $8 million in the first week in design. So I know how to design better than Facebook and all these guys. Okay. So if you are in this area of interest, please contact me. I can make you filthy rich. But you have to start offshore, so they don't hit you with some legal suit cases. Okay. So now you do the what is Islam. You go to the spiritual. Spiritual means you follow what the Prophet used to do. Prophetic supplication after each prayer. Prophetic supplication morning and night. Then prophetic supplication across the 24 hours, when he get in here, get out of here, and see this, see that. So this is your spirituality. Add to it abundance of zikrullah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the remembrance of the repeating in your heart the names of Allah, reading a lot of Qur'an. Okay? So this is our curriculum. So Harvard will not teach you that. Oxford will not teach you that. Many Islamic university schools will never teach you that. I know it. I visit Indonesia. Nobody is teaching this. Okay? As a matter of fact, we made a book for them to revive this sunnah. Okay, we made this to revive the sunnah, and let me see if I can show you this book. If you go Abdullah Gumari, which is the site of my teacher, okay, you will see this book here. This is Reviving of the Sunnah of Prophet. It's beautiful in Arabic. It's 10 chapters. We use it as introduction to the Islamic college, and at the same time the first 3 chapters is about the spirituality we are talking about. Okay, so the 3 chapters, you have the supplication of the Prophet. They translate prayer really supplication. Let us say prayer when you pray the 5 prayers and so forth, and supplication when you ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then you have the 6th chapter covering like abridgment of jurisprudence about Aqidah, faith, about bio of the Prophet, short one, and so forth. Then now you come and say, oh, how about science in Islam, art, philosophy? This is already covered by the Sheikh of Azhar. No Sheikh of Azhar wrote like him. He was a great spiritual leader. He studied in Sorbonne philosophy. He was the head of Arabic language university. Then he became Sheikh of Azhar, and all his life he spent it in mosques. He's the one led the army, Muslim Egyptian army, to take back Sinai Desert. Sadat loved him. King Faisal loved him. Everybody loved this man. I used to go to him in his home. I used to go to him in his offices. Okay, so now, how about like some stuff like critique and stuff like that? Yes, you can have a critique of materialistic system like democracy, the woke, the gay and lesbian. You can critique, but not critique for destructive criticism. Critique to guide. Okay, so our intention to guide people. All right. So the Professor Dr. Abhalim Mahmoud, he covered the science and the art and the philosophy and the spirituality, and we will just study all this together. Then you have Ahmed Didat Kit. So this is our kind of like, let's consider this an introduction for your Islamic study. You cannot beat that. Well balanced, solid, okay, good English, all right? So you come to the Quran. Now I have a surprise for you. The first class will be considered like obligatory. Let me explain. I know Muslim communities, non-Arab, they are suffering from understanding the Arabic when they are reading, because the education system never focus on that to say, okay, let us get this baby, read the Quran like Arabic nicely, don't worry about the meaning now. So they spend maybe a couple of years learning the alphabet and reading nicely. Then he grow, he doesn't know anything. Then become like assumption for him and her. So what I did something nice, alhamdulillah, bless me. The Quran about 69,000 words, okay? Hear me carefully. 69,000 words. Plus, I'm just giving you average, rounding the number, not average. So 69,000 words. The 69,000 words without repetition, 18,000, which means 28%. So I'm making you 28% and you get 100%. Give me a break. Nobody gave you that. No Hamza Yusuf, no Zakir, nobody on the planet. Only Ahmed Darwish. And I do it for serving the words of Allah. So don't blame me. And I don't want to be famous. I don't want anything. I don't want money from you. I don't need anything. I just want you to understand. I made Allah bless me to make it easy for you. So now you have 18,000. You break it into 600 words each. Will give you 30 booklets. So if you take a booklet a month or whatever, like a couple of years, Quran, you read it like Arabs. You will tell me, explain to me more. Okay, I'll explain to you more. Okay, I will explain to you more. Let me show you a sample so you understand what I'm talking about. Okay, here, this is this is sample of 1,300 words. Okay, so what's happening, let me maybe see a smaller verse to make it easy to explain to you. Okay, so this is the verse here. Okay, now I'm teaching you from the end. The system is like this: the word comes in the beginning, will never come again, because it's 28%. So if say Rahman 2,000 times in Quran, it will be only one here. So here is the word, the creator of heaven and the earth. When he decrees a thing, he only says be, and it is. So now these words here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. But what happened, you have been, because assuming we start from the beginning of the book, this 11, you already have 5 words before you learn them. So I'm not going to teach you any repetition. So the new one here, this is it. These are the words which are new. So I gave it to you in Arabic. I will read it. This is transliterature. If you don't read Arabic, it's okay. You can read this word by the, you know. Then you have the accurate English. Then we have the Indonesian. Of course, if you are a non-Indonesian, don't worry about that. So I'm producing the whole Quran like that, and multimedia, okay? But this is the first course, and it's obligation all Muslims to amend and to adjust the curriculum of Quran meaning, which kind of messed up, okay? And I hope that they put this course everywhere. The nice about it, it is in the order of the Quran. So it means you study from the beginning, not in alphabetical order. So when you start from the beginning, oops, here you go. So you start from beginning, here is your first chapter. So here, of course, the first chapter will have all the words of it, every verse. Then later these words, you will never see them again. So you have to study them very well. And there is a lot of correction, because in the translation now in English, you have a lot of mistakes. I mean by mistakes, like for example, this word here, recompense, ad-din. Everybody translates Day of Judgment. Wrong. Ad-din in Arabic has 2 meanings only. One means religion, and one means recompense. Recompense means good for good, bad for bad. Okay? So it's the day of recompense. In this verse. Okay? If we say deen, Yawm Deen, if we say resurrection, al-Qiyamah, stuff like that, it's different. We're talking about that. But because people are not very scholarly, really, and they are not really understanding and study traditional A to Z Islamic studies, so you don't know, so they assume. All right? For example, when they translate, you will hear a lot of translations say slaves of Allah and servant of Allah, right? There is no such thing in Quran. Okay? Slaves of Allah or servant of Allah. First, Allah doesn't need slaves. Slaves, when a master weak, he get a lot of slaves, or servant to help him. Allah doesn't need that. So it is only worshipper. So they translate it wrong. Okay? And Pharaoh told Moses and Aaron, your own people are worshipping me, Abidin. If it was slave or master, slave or servant, we will have no problem with Pharaoh. I mean, slavery everywhere at that time. Islam's freed slavery. So this is what I'm talking about. I'm giving you a unique curriculum. Is not anywhere on earth. Save you a lot of time. You study 28%. You get 100%. Okay. I'm sure you enjoy what you are seeing. So now this is the first one, Quran, words of Quran, which is obligatory. Okay? The Arabic, English, unique words of Quran. Then comes the Quran explanation. Now you know the words. Now you need to know the explanation. So the standard one is the two Jalal, Jalalain, two alim. They are so loving, not like nowadays alim fight each other because they are after money and fame. Few are humble. With all what Allah bless me, do you know that nobody contact me of all the scholars of Islam, East and West? And even I go to a guy chat in the talk, I put a note. He never write back. You understand? So anyhow, one Jalal ad-Din al-Muhalli and Jalal ad-Din al-Suyuti. First name is Jalal. One is 911 Hijri, and he's top scholar of Hadith and everything. He wrote 350 books. And he's like a central post office in Hadith. He's amazing. So this one of them start making word for word explanation of Quran, and halfway he passed away. So the other one continued. So they call it the two Jalal tafsir, al Jalalain. Okay, so we have this in English. His brother translated it. Then we have, I think I repeated this again. Then we have Sheikh Sha'rawi. Sheikh Sha'rawi, you have to understand, there's nobody better than this guy. He's number one on earth, and he's my teacher. So I got all his tafsir. I have it in one Word document and in English. So we'll give you this course, okay? I have this BG, blah, blah, blah. This B mean people, anybody study. G, graduation. M, master degree. D means PhD, okay? So then you come the Quran abridgment by Tabarani, okay? It's written here Tabari by mistake, I think. So then we have this 18,000 Arabic Bahasa words, 18,000 Arabic and 14,000 English cross-reference concordance. A lot of brothers and sisters don't know what concordance. The Christians, they do concordance of the Bible. Concordance means like a glossary. Glossary means you take a word followed by the number of pages where it is. Concordance means you put the word and put all complete verses of it. So I made a cross-reference of Quran English 14,000 plus. It was bestseller in Amazon, Kindle, 5 stars, and I have an Arabic 18,000 words concordance, which I have the word and all of it. And I have it meshed. It means you search for Arabic, you get the Indonesian or you get the English and the opposite, okay? Then you come to the Hadith study. Now Hadith study, be warned, Allah bless me to be one of the top 10 leading scholar of Hadith on the planet. And all of them dead, I am the only one remain, okay? It's not my mistake that you are not in contact with me, all right? I have Allah.com, Muhammad.com, Mosque.com, what else you want me to do? And we have all this language, I have all this activity, okay? So you should pay attention to the listening, okay? So now I wrote Hadith roadmap, because before my study of Hadith and my research, which really we have to have a special lecture for that. I have Hadith at our house. I designed Hadith at our house, and I did like a special course on that. If you go to Arabic, if you go to, where is that thing here now? If you go to Arabic, if you go to Arabic here, Arabic here, all right, you will see description of, I think down there. This is my pictures, Muhammad Ali. Here you go, I'm coming now. Come on, come on. This is description of the Hadith course, which teach people Hadith. Okay, it's a complete like curriculum. Here you go. Here you go. Look at that good-looking guy. So this is my course to Hadith in the making. Hadith Data Warehouse free Tangier Europe training tour, free. Okay, this is Hafiz Abdullah At-Talidi, and here is description, and I have here an English description of everything. So if you go to Arabic and you go click on the voice MP3, you will hear my description of this course. Okay, so I don't want to cover it now because at the moment we are focusing on, here you go. If you click on that, I think it will work. Maybe not. We'll have to check that link. All right, so this is what I'm trying to tell you. So now we go back to our conversation. Let's see, we already covered this. Oh yeah, now when it comes to the English, I just want to show you this. Khadija, she recorded all the Quran in a beautiful topic driven, and nobody did that for Quran but us, and she did the same for Hadith. So if you go there and click there, okay, you'll have topics of Quran, one topic at a time. Okay,
The Holy Qur'an, the audio translation of the meaning rendered into English, with for the first time approximately 2,000 subtitles, by Sheikh Ahmed Darwish and Khadija Stevens and Noor Khadija, of Allah.com, Muhammad.com, Mosque.com. Copyrighted 1984 to 2011 by the Darwish family. All rights are reserved. Please note, in the printed edition of this translation, pronouns whose first letter are capitalized refer to the Creator Allah. For example, the capitalization of the first letter.
And the same for Hadith. Okay, so here you have the Hadith, Riyadh al-Salihin, which is quarter of the Hadith of the Prophet. Okay, 372 subject and modern 61 kind of chapters. Again, it is the same. You click on any topic, all right, and the hadith of it come in both Arabic and English, and you hear her voice.
Hearts in unison. The Hadith tells us, we, bracket, the companions, bracket, were with the Prophet, praise and peace be upon him, in the battle, when he said, there are some men in Medina who are with you wherever you march and in whatever valley you cross. It is only illness that has kept them from being with you. They are equal to you in reward.
Okay, so what it is, let us go back to our main conversation here. So now what happened, we gave you the Hadith roadmap, right? After Hadith roadmap, we give you Hadith terminology. There are a lot of old-fashioned books, but there is a group of PhD, sincere, famous Kuwaiti scholars. They put together a beautiful dictionary. 40 years ago, it was articles in magazines, like Scientific Islamic magazine. So I hired a sister to type all of these articles and make it one book. I kept to reserve it 40 years because it outperformed all books. It's fantastic Hadith terminology. it gives you like to dive in under the hood to understand how the scholar of the old days, but really you don't need it because now hadith collected and everything in order. We're not going to reinvent the wheel. We don't want you to be Bukhari, start searching and evaluating different narration, all right? So it is for historic, they call it taraf fikri for historic reason. So now come to the serious stuff. After the roadmap and after the what you call the terminology, we get into the real thing. Divine Hadith. This Divine Hadith collection is only available through us and for free. Nobody collected all the Hadith as a finale. Hafiz Abdullah did it in Muhammad Ali House. Mufti of Egypt wrote all the books of Hadith. He went through all of them, about 950, and he approved only 495. So this is Hadith Qudsi. If you go anywhere in any country, you'll not find more than like maybe 200. Then you'll find maybe 1,000 false and. Then, so we have the total Hadith, Divine Hadith. Because Hadith is my forte, okay, alhamdulillah, my servitude. Then total Hadith of the Prophet. This is also another fantastic work. All the Hadith of Prophet. Then you have Hadith explanation. Then you have Encyclopedia of Hafiz Abdullah, about 100 books in Excel. I'm the first one to put all the Hadith in Excel. Make it very easy and fast and better than Word and PDF because you cannot search in Arabic. Then you have, if you want, the academia, the Takhriq, they call it, where you give me all the narration and stuff like that. We have the largest one by Hafiz Salid. Then comes here my work, the prophetic Hadith concordance. The Quran and Hadith, the words of Quran and Hadith together, about 35,000 words. So I put every word with all the Quran and Hadith, but this is Hadith 1, okay? Then I have what is called Hadith Data Warehouse. You search one thing, it produces a draft book. For example, you search Lady Aisha radiallahu anha, you will find for her repetition of 14,006 statement in 385 books. Excel and Word, just one click. So write for you draft books by one click at a time. And I can do the same for 60,000 Rawi or for all Sahaba and so forth. This is Omar, is a beloved UK brother for me. We are working on together on he finished master's degree, and we need to publish it here because his work is in Hadith. Okay, I will continue. I'm going to stop here because I didn't list yet the Islamic creed and the jurisprudence and prophetic biography. Okay, so I think I covered in these two lectures a lot of ground with you, okay, about our, alhamdulillah, university. You will learn a lot. When it comes to the spirituality, you will put you with people who master of science of ihsan, which is a spiritual perfection. People like this, Bill Qaid, people like Ahmad al-Alawi, people like Mawla Muhammad al-Ghumari, the father of my teachers. René Junot, he's a leading Western spiritual guru, which all Western people respect him. He spoke 12 languages, has a huge library in Egypt. French Muslim, they meet once a year to like anniversary meet in his house in Aguza in Egypt. His son there, he trade in honey farms. And this is my Pakistani gang. They are in Umrah now. And this is the board. This is the board of the Islamic University in black and white, all right? This is Andrew Tat. I like the guy. I like to cooperate with him. I don't need his money. I have a lot of wealth of knowledge. I like him to get it for free because if not, he will get con artist by somebody else. And this is Sheikh al-Azhar when he wrote the book about all the science, philosophy, and knowledge. Okay, and this is the Mufti of Egypt I mentioned before, and these people, these links about the amount of books these guys produce, it is amazing, mashallah. Huge amount of books they produce, and I have a permission to translate these books. Oh, we're going 1 hour now. So this is all his books. Look at that. Come on, mister. So this is list of all his books. The computer cannot handle that. Here you go. So he focused on the philosophy, the science, Islam and Europe, and he also focused on all the awliya. I told you awliya, the people who are blessed on ihsan, spiritual perfection. So he wrote biography for every one of them, which is fantastic. Al-Fudayl ibn Iyad, Dhunnun al-Masri, Abu al-Hasan al-Shazli, so and forth. The accepted dua from Qur'an and Hadith. He covered everything. Okay, so I'm going to be teaching some of these. Okay, as I told you, this is a man who led the army. He used to take the helicopter and go give admission to the army of Egypt who kicked the Jew out of Sinai. Okay, not the Jew, really, the Zionist. Okay, the Zionists who hate Islam and Christian, everything. Jew, there are some good Jew, some bad Jew, like anything else, but the Zionists are troublemaker. So this guy has a huge library. No Sheikh Azhar came like him after him, as if he took it away with him. This one on the left here, Mustafa Mahmoud, is a medical doctor, but he focused on philosophy and wisdom, and he wrote a book talking with atheistic, and then he used to like to dominate in his time the Egyptian TV and radio and newspaper. So these are the people I'm really using, so you can share their knowledge. Okay. So this Sheikh Abdul Halim Mahmoud really is fantastic. Okay. Sorry, there are some, because Abdul Halim, there's a singer called Abdul Halim, which is kind of stupid. Okay, so here you go. I'd like to conclude this by encouraging you to tell everybody, and you come and subscribe. We moved virtually in Hamtramck because I think is the largest city of Islam. I'm advising them to start, not advising as an advisor, it's just a guy giving nasihat, not that they make an offshore area there, and also go to like BRICS, export and import, set up like Silicon Valley. I can contribute to turn some of these kids into great programmers. Okay, I have already 10 years son who program like a university. He's doing all the programming for me. So I hope there was I don't know, here it's like council, I think. Here is, I think, the whole team. I'd like to be in contact with them. They are from all nationality. Okay, so you have counselors here, different ones, good looking and clean and nice. Allah bless them and protect them. Okay, so we need to turn this to be a pinnacle in America, and setting up maybe Islamic investment, sister city to be sister city, Hamtrak to be sister city to like Bali, Surabaya, Cairo, Riyadh or Jeddah, and start doing big time business. Make it like Buffett, Hathaway of Muslims. They invite Buffett, who is an ethical guy. He can give them some advice. Okay, have maybe a public investment company where every citizen maybe put $100 in one fund and take this fund and make miracle with it in business and special technology. I propose for them to sit offshore, and some of them maybe they are governmental, but they can do not non-governmental organization, which is wealth building. I know how to compete with Google, Facebook, Amazon, you name it. How you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. Make Amazon or Facebook in Karachi alone. This will kill Facebook in Pakistan, right? And so forth. So thank you much for everything. I make a little dua. اللهم امنن علينا بصفاء المعرفة وهب لنا تصحيح المعاملة بيننا وبينك على السنة وصدق التوكل عليك وحسن الظن بك وامنن علينا بكل ما يقربنا إليك مقرون بالعافية في الدارين فنسألك اللهم إنابة المخبتين وإخلاص الموقنين وشكر الصابرين وتوبة الصادقين.
One bodyguard.
السلام
He has
عليكم
no
ورحمة الله
eyes,
وبركاته.
though he sees. He has no ears, though he hears. He remembers everything with the aid of mind and memory. When he wishes to create a thing, he just orders it to be and it comes into existence. But this order is not conveyed in words, which takes a tongue to formulate or with sound carries ears. He hears the secrets of those under quiet thoughts. He stops those who's that? That's God.